Welcome to my YouTube channel that I started because I need a reason to regularly put on makeup during quarantine, otherwise I start to feel terrible. Today we will be looking at my comphet crushes, specifically focusing on fictional characters with maybe a couple celebrities and analyzing why I thought I liked them, what was going on there, just trying to get into my past self's head and figure out why I thought I was attracted to men at the time. So, first up on the list we have Aladdin, and I would say this one is mainly due to the fact that as a young child, while I did not know that I was interested in women, I did know that I was not interested in the bourgeoisie. So, Aladdin was not part of the ruling class, and I think that is what drew me to him. And I also would argue that vest no shirt and flowy pants is a very fuckboy lesbian outfit. He didn't slip that one by me. So, I think that's on him. And I can't be blamed for that. But in rewatching Aladdin recently, I did notice what a class traitor he is and was consumed by that. So just to let you know what it's like to be inside my prison of a brain, I no longer can enjoy Aladdin because I just think about how Aladdin is a class traitor, which is insane. Next on my list, I have Matt Smith, specifically in Doctor Who, but I didn't just put Doctor Who because I counted him as one of my main celebrity crushes for a very long time. I think here what happened is Stephen Moffat is not a good writer. How he writes characters is he makes them all important, all attractive, center of the universe, powerful adventure beings, and to a 14-year-old girl, I think that was very appealing. I think that I desperately wanted to travel space and time in a tweed suit with a bunch of cute girls, and I misdirected that into a crush on Matt Smith. In high school, I even bought a tweed blazer, and I would wear it all the time. I thought I looked very cool in it. In retrospect, that seems like some very gay behavior that should have been a warning sign, but live and learn. Despite my feelings about Stephen Moffat, he is still one of my favorite doctors. I love the whimsy, although I think a big part of that was it's my favorite TARDIS those seasons, and Karen Gillan is one of my all-time biggest celebrity crushes, so I think those seasons have a very soft place in my heart. And so it's hard for me to be too judgmental about him, but I do acknowledge that Moffat's writing style leaves a lot to be desired substance-wise. It kind of creates these characters just with huge egos because they're the center of the universe, literally. So I don't know about that. I also had, as a sub-point to the Matt Smith one, Sherlock, because of the same reason. Moffat knows how to write one personality, and he used it for both of them, so got me again, I guess. But I also was a huge nerd, very gay, but I didn't know it, and I was so obviously very active in online fandoms, and the prevailing theory amongst my peers at that time was that Benedict Cumberbatch was the most attractive man alive, and who was I to go against the grain? What did I know about men? I think I kind of got herd mentality on that one. Everyone was like, oh my god, Benedict Cumberbatch, and I was like, yeah, I love Sherlock. He's so hot. So I guess that's what happened there. Also, I think part of that one may have been that I loved the 2009 Sherlock Holmes movie, and so I think it had a soft spot for the character already going into the show. Interestingly though, when I saw the first episode in 2010, I thought Benedict Cumberbatch was so ugly. I thought he was so weirdly cast. And I just watched the first episode on PBS. I was 12 years old and I didn't think any more about it. And then I started watching it again later when I was in 9th grade. And I was like, oh, now I'm on board. Now I get it. I can't believe I didn't like him in the past. But now I think my 12-year-old self was onto something. And I should have gone with my gut on that. But I didn't. So here we are. Live and learn. Next up, we have Robin Hood, who is another enemy of the bourgeoisie, which is, I would argue his main attribute. But I think we can all agree across the spectrum, whoever you are, let's not pretend that the Fox Robin Hood can't get it. I mean, we'd be lying to ourselves and each other. And I also believe that if the sheer volume of Simba fuckers out in the world can go unbullied, I would like that right for myself when applied to Disney Robin Hood, because at least Disney Robin Hood doesn't walk on all fours, if you know what I'm saying. He wears an outfit, he's a member of society. What do we know about Simba? He's literally a cat, and that's okay? I don't know about that. I don't know about that, guys, but I will say that the British accent, the hatred of the rich, and just the general cool vibes totally won me over. I may save this for another video, but I have some thoughts on gender and masculinity overall in Disney Robin Hood and how it's actually pretty subversive, and I think I'm going to make a video later about Robin Hood the movie, so maybe I won't get into that now. Next on my list, I have Tony Stark. There's a lot going on here, so what do I say about Tony Stark? Okay. I love him. I still love him. Loved him from day one. There has never been a time where I did not love him in my life since he entered my life. I don't know that I would say I'm still romantically attracted to Tony Stark, but I do feel that I have a special bond with him. I feel like maybe I think of him more in like he's both my son and like my mom friend. And so there's just like a lot of love there, but it feels a bit more familial than romantic, I would say, at this stage. I think that we would be incredible friends because he respects and relates to lesbians in a very unique way. He, you know, if you look at his relationships, specifically in the comics, because MCU did all his friendships so incredibly dirty that I don't want to get into it, but his relationship with strong women who I may or may not think are lesbians, but that's my business. Also, the way he cares for Doreen, Squirrel Girl, is my absolute favorite comic, favorite Marvel story, favorite Marvel characters in that story, and his presence in that has always brought me a lot of joy because I love seeing him just express how much he cares for people. He has such a big heart, and he tries so hard, and he's just a sweet, sweet boy who wants to make the world better, and I never gonna stop loving him in one capacity or another. So that's what I have to say on Tony Stark. Next up, shifting gears a little bit, heading way back to my childhood, we have Cody Martin from The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. So, this one actually caused me a lot of problems because I think what it's down to is that I was a huge nerd as a kid, and I saw Cody Martin, and I was like, he's sweet, he's a nerd, I like him. Also, here's something, the first episode I think I remember ever seeing of The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, or maybe just one of the first ones, I don't know, I watched that a ton as a kid, so hard to remember, but one of the ones I remember the most distinctly seeing as a kid is the one where Cody is a girl for most of the episode, like, he dresses up in drag to try and impress another girl in a beauty pageant. In retrospect, like, maybe a sign that I'm a huge lesbian. Also, let's talk about his great one-liners, like, how do you lose a woman? You forget to cherish her. Spot on, Cody. Respect for women, and I respect that. So, at the time, he seemed like a good person, and that was pretty much my bar for having a crush on somebody. Are they a man? You should like men. Are they a good person? Go for it. So, I think that's what happened there. Okay, next on the list, we have Tintin. So Tintin is one of my favorite stories from growing up. However, if any of you are familiar with Tintin, you may think, hey Asha, that's a series that's got a lot of misogyny and racism in it, and you bet it is, which is a huge bummer for me. So what I like to do, so that I can enjoy nostalgia from my childhood without feeling terrible, is I like to headcanon the characters as different queer identities and then just aggressively project so that I can still enjoy the stories. And my top two theories on Tintin are, I believe that Tintin is either a trans gay man or Tintin is a lesbian pretending to be a man because she wants to pursue an independent lifestyle and a journalism career, but knows that she cannot actively and successfully accomplish this at her current time and location if she were a man. So, you know, in my head at this point in life, I basically think of Tintin as like a secret lesbian, although it was definitely big when I was small, but I think a lot of that too was, it was like when I was really young, and there are almost no female characters in Tintin. There's Castafiore, but she's a whole thing in Irma, and, you know, not many other regulars. So I think my way of feeling like I could be part of the Tintin universe was to, like, imagine myself as Tintin's girlfriend, if that makes sense. But I think what I really wanted was just to be, like, going on the adventures too, and I didn't know how I would fit into that world because it had no women. What's up there? But I do love Tintin enough that I got a Tintin tattoo, so. Next up on the list is Tristan from Stardust. Okay, so this one I think was another classic confusion around, do I want to be him or am I attracted to him? You know, I think like what my dream was when Stardust came out as a child was to go on adventures and to get to hang out with Claire Danes in that silky blue dress and to like use magic and be friends with pirates. And he checks all those boxes. It was hard for me like to not feel attracted to that character just in terms of like a general attraction, not necessarily a romantic attraction. And then I think I interpreted that as a romantic attraction. Cause like, you know, comphet, we've been there. But yeah, basically I think I just really wanted the vibes he had going in that movie, especially at the end when he gets all cool. Also, he was poor too, so a bit of a theme emerging in that regard. But yeah, I think I just wanted to go on adventures. I also think like, while I currently am not attracted to him, I would absolutely still be good pals with Tristan and live in that kingdom. And I think that through his acceptance of gay pirate Robert De Niro, we know that he is a strong ally to the queer community and he would be a good friend to me. So no hard feelings on Tristan. He's a great guy and I would hang out with him and go on adventures with him. That's where I stand on that. Last on the list, but certainly not least, we have Ronald Weasley. Ron Weasley is, I think, I've been trying to figure this one out because I didn't want to be him. I didn't relate to him. So those two options, which are the main things that I've found in the rest of this list, are not there, but here are some of the things that I think it could be. One, the obvious, I'll start with, he's poor. So like obviously, you know, not a rich person and I don't trust the rich and I never have. At a young age, I may not have known how to verbalize that, but I think the evidence speaks for itself in who I was attracted to. Ron also, I think here's the other thing it could be, is that there's that friendship trope recently emerging in media where it's like a pure-hearted dumbass man and a lesbian and they're best friends. Think like Steve Harrington and Robin from Stranger Things, or Ellie Chu and Paul Munsky from The Half of It. Like, I think that he is my big-hearted dumbass best friend man, and I'm his lesbian best friend. You know, like, we'd joke around, we'd make fun of each other, but we'd also, like, help each other get girls and, like, have hearts-to-hearts when we needed to. And I think that's what I saw in Ron Weasley. I also think, like, a big thing was that I really related to Hermione, and I always was a big fan of that ship, so I think I kind of projected a crush onto him because I liked her having a crush on him and I related to her. But, you know, I still have a soft spot for Ron. I think he's so dumb, but he's just got a big old heart, and that's what matters in the end, in terms of, like, men that I would willingly spend my time with. Not in a romantic sense now, clearly, but generally, the bar is still very high for men being in my life in any form, and I think that I would be friends with him. So that is a big compliment coming from me, and I hold by that. I'm trying to think of anyone I didn't have on my list, but honestly, I've just been so gay for long enough that I can't even remember. Maybe someday I'll hack my 2014 Tumblr and Instagram that I had all my fandom posts on and see if I can dig up enough entries for a part 2 of this video, but those are the main ones I wanted to cover. Thanks for watching. Bye.